Hello and welcome to a double stitch creations tutorial. Today we're going to be making the beautiful poppy flower in remembrance of those who fought for our freedom. And to create this beautiful poppy flower, you will need a 4.5mm hook, some red, gold and black yarn, and some practice yarn for practicing before you get started. And you would also get your tapestry needle, and for this project you'll also need a pair of scissors. Alrighty, let's get started. We're working off the pattern today, and we're going to be starting on the center of our poppy, and we're starting with the yellow yarn or the gold yarn. So we start by making a slip knot. So I always leave a bit of a tail so that we can weave that in later on. I wrap it around my finger twice. I grab the back loop and I pull it over the front loop. Then I get the tail and I wrap it in front of the loop that is still on my finger. And I once again grab the back loop and pull it over the front loop. Now I've got this slip knot that I can put on my crochet hook. And now we're going, the way I hold my yarn, just the slip knot allows you to loosen or tighten. It's not tight, nothing's tight. It's you can glide up and down your crochet hook, and that's what you want. And then the way I hold my crochet, and you'll find your own way, but this is how I hold it, is I hook my pinky under here. I turn my hand and my pointer comes under the yarn here, and now the index finger and the thumb come, and they just lightly hold the work near the crochet hook, and the closer you hold it, the easier it is to work. And this is our working yarn. The point is keeping it straight but not tight, and this is the yarn that we're going to be working with. So I'll just show you one more time. I hook my pinky under the yarn here, I turn my hand and my pointer goes under the yarn just here, and then my index finger and my thumb just come around and lightly hold my work near the crochet hook. And now we're going to chain 2. So to do a chain, you go yarn over, it's called yarn over, so but you're putting your hook under the yarn and you're hooking it and you're pulling it back through the loop on your hook. That's 1. And you're going to do that again, so yarn over and pulling the yarn back through the loop on your hook, that's 2. Now the pattern says to put 5 single crochets into the second chain from the hook. You'll find this in most patterns, and what does that mean? It means that here's our hook. If you have a look at your chain, I know it's only small, but there's these V's are your 2 chain stitches that we just did. We can't crochet into the first one because it'll just undo, so we've got to go into the second from the hook. So hook, first, second. Now if you follow the tail where it goes under the slip knot, you'll find the bottom loop or strand of your chain from the second chain from the hook. Just pull that out a little bit. You can tighten it later. If you pull it out, you'll make the hole a bit bigger and you'll be able to see where you're going to put your stitches. So just pull it out, and that way you can see where you're going to put your stitches, just to make it a little easier, and we can tighten it later. So I've just made that chain stitch at the bottom, the second chain, a little bit bigger so I can see where I'm going to put my stitches. So I turn my hook, we go into that chain stitch, and we're going to yarn over and pull that yarn back through that chain stitch. Now you've got two loops on your hook. Now yarn over and pull through both loops. That's your first single crochet. We're going back into that chain stitch, into that hole that we made. Yarn over, pulling our yarn back through the stitch, 2 loops on a hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's our second. We're doing all 5 single crochets in here, so going into that stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through both. That's the third. So we're putting all of our 5 stitches into this circle. and now you can pull it tight. Okay, now we're going to just go into the first stitch. So just take a look. You'll notice all these like V shapes. These are your stitches. Okay, so you want to put your hook under both those loops. So each stitch has what's called a front loop and a back loop, and we're going to put our hook underneath both those loops. So we're going into the first stitch, so going under both those loops of the first stitch. We're going to do what's called a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull that yarn back through the first stitch. You've got 2 loops in your hook. Now we're just going to pull this first loop through the back loop, just pulling it through, and that's a slip stitch. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to get our black yarn, and we're changing to the black. So just what you do is just leave a little bit of a tail, and then just hook that black yarn and pull it through that yellow yarn, through that loop in your hook. So now you've changed to black. So now and then drop the yellow yarn, and we'll continue to go do the black. So now we're going to do 1 half double into every stitch around. So a half double crochet is yarning over first. So this is a new stitch, so that you have 2. So you're yarning over first, so going under your yarn. So you now have 2 loops on your hook. We're going to go into that first stitch, then yarn over again and pulling that yarn back through that first stitch. 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's our first half double. We're going to do half double into every stitch around. So yarn over, going into the next stitch now, making sure our hook goes into both the front loop and the back loop. Yarn over, pulling up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through. Okay, we've got 5 stitches, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to go putting our stitch into the first stitch of this round, so it'll be black. So going into the very first stitch that was in black, then yarn over, pulling that yarn back through that stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch, so just pulling the front loop through the back loop, and that's the center of our poppy finished. So now we're going to drop the black and we're going to pick up the red. Okay, so picking up the red, also leaving a bit of a tail, then just yarning over and pulling the red through the black loop that is on your hook. Now we're going to chain 3. So yarn over, pulling that yarn back through the loop on your hook. So that's 1. Yarn over, pulling that yarn back through the loop on your hook. That's 2 and 3. Now, if you want, you can trim off the black and the red. Oh, not the red, sorry, black and the gold, or black and yellow. Leave a tail because at the end we will knot them off and finish, but just so that it doesn't get too tangled. You can trim off. Now we're working with the red. Now we're going to do what's called a treble. So this is another new stitch, and it's probably one of the biggest stitches in crochet. And it's pretty good for flowers. So to do a treble, you yarn over once and then you yarn over twice. Okay, so you're going under your yarn and then under again, and so you now have 3 loops on your hook. All right, I'll show you one more time. Under your yarn and then under again. Now we've got 3 loops on a hook and we're going into the first stitch. So into the first stitch with the black, making sure our front loop and our back loop on top of our hook. Then yarn over and pulling that red back through. And we now have 4 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops only. Yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops only, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So we're going to put 4 more trebles into this same stitch. So we're going into the same stitch and we're doing 4 more trebles. So yarn over twice, into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the middle 2, then yarn over and pull through the last 2. Yarn over twice into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the middle 2 loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2. So we want 2 more trebles into the same stitch. Okay, once you've got, you'll looks like you'll have 6 because that's counting the chain 3 that we did at the start. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to chain 3. So yarn over, pulling that yarn through the loop on your hook, yarn over, pulling that yarn through the loop on your hook, and we're going to do a slip stitch into the same stitch. So going into the same stitch, so we just did all those trebles, yarn over, pull up a loop, and the first loop goes through the back loop. Okay, now we're going to repeat that process for the next petal. Okay, so we're going to chain 3, so yarn over, pulling that yarn back through the loop on your hook, that's 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to do treble, we're going to do a treble, so yarn over twice, going into the next stitch now. So going to we're working on the second petal now. So go into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the second 2 loops, and yarn over, pull through the last 2. So once again, we're putting 5 treble stitches into this one stitch, and you should have 6 strands, counting that first chain stitch. There'll be 7 all up, but count 6 and then we'll do the last chains, 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more, because I'm counting that the first, we did 3 chains, I'm counting that as one of my strands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're going to chain 3, so yarn over, pulling that yarn back through the loop on your hook, that's 1, 2, and 3. So going back into the same stitch, yarn over, pulling up a loop, we're doing a slip stitch. So we're pulling the front loop through the back loop. And that's our second petal. And if you were to count the strands, there would be 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's counting the 2 ends, which were our 3 chains. Now we're going to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to do putting 5 trebles into the next stitch. So 1, yarning over twice, going into the next stitch now. Yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pulling through the first 2 loops, through to the middle and through to the last 2. So we're just going to do this until we have 5 petals. So just we're putting 5 treble stitches into each stitch, and it ends up with 7, which includes the chain 3s on the end. Does that make sense? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I need 1 more treble. Now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch as those trebles. And we're going to chain 3 again. And now we're going to put 5 trebles into the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now chain 3. Slip stitch into the same stitch. Now chain 3 again. Now we're up to the last petal. So 5 trebles into this last stitch. Okay, we'll just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 more. Now chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to slip stitch into the very beginning of this round. So just slip stitch, and this completes layer 1 of our poppy. And now we'll move on to layer 2. Okay, we're not finishing off, we're still using the red. We're moving on to layer 2. So what you need to do is just bend that first petal forward, and you will see, now it's a little hard tricky to see in the video, but you will see it will just be one strand in the black, and this is what we're going to be working into. This is round 1 of layer 2. It's called the back ridge, and it's a stitch at the center. It's at the center bottom of our petal, and there's one there, and you'll find one at every stitch around. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a half double into the back stitch, back ridge, so into that stitch I just showed you. So bend your petal down so you can see it. So first of all, yarn over, so you've got 2 loops on your hook going into that back ridge. So it's just one strand, and you'll find at the bottom center of your petal, behind your petal. Then yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So that's 1. Now going to the next petal, you can bend it down so you can see it a little easier, yarn over. I'm just going under that one strand, which is a back ridge. And I'm doing a half double, so yarn over, going into that back ridge, yarn over, pulling up a loop, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 2. So just move the strands out of the way. Now bend this petal, yarn over, going under the next one, yarn over, pulling it back through, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 3. Then find the next one, yarn over, going under the next one, yarn over, pulling it back through, 3 loops in your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now there will be a 5th one. It might be in yellow, it might be in black, but I don't want to do 5 petals on the back. I only want 4, because then I think it sits nicely and just pops it up a little bit. This is completely up to you. You can have 5 on the bottom if you want, but I only want 4. So what I'm going to do is skip over that last petal. I'm going to skip over that last back ridge. And then I'm going to slip stitch into the very first stitch that we did of this round. So going into that first stitch, yarn over, pulling the loop back through, then I'm pulling the front loop through the back loop. Okay, so we should have 4 stitches and our strands coming out the center. We will sort them out in a minute. Okay, so now from here we're going to do our petals again. So chaining 3, 1, 2, 3, yarn over twice. We're doing 5 trebles into the same stitch. So yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the middle 2, and then yarn over, pull through the last 2. So just doing what we did in the first layer of petals, just putting 5 trebles plus the 3 chain stitches on the other side to make it 7. And we're just going to repeat this for 4 petals. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now we're up to the chain 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, slip stitching into the same stitch. So pulling that front loop through the back loop. Oops, dropped a stitch. Try again. So chain 3, going into the same stitch that we just did all those trebles, yarn over, pull up a loop, then pulling the front loop through the back loop as a slip stitch. Now chain 3 again. Now moving to the next stitch around, yarn over twice, going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, 4 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, pull through the middle 2, and pull through the last. And we're just repeating this until we have 4 petals. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Okay, chaining 3 again. So remember, it's chain 3, 5 trebles, then a chain 3. Then we slip stitching into the same stitch as all of that. So now it's a chain 3. We're doing another treble, going into the next stitch. So now we're doing 5 trebles again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Okay, chain 3. Slip stitching into the same spot. Now chain 3, we're on to the last petal now. So doing our 5 trebles. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more. Okay, now it's chain 3. And now we're slip stitching to the beginning at the very start. where we started that first petal. I'm just doing a slip stitch. Now you can cut your yarn, leaving a tail. Then the yarn you just cut yarn over and pull it all the way through to finish it off. Okay, now what we're going to do is tidy up these. So first of all, let's start with the yellow, and we're going to knot these together. I usually do about 3 knots, completely up to you. Okay, now grab your tapestry needle. And just, what we're going to do is just weave. So find the center on the back of our poppy. Just weave these strands in and out for a little bit to secure it a little bit more. So just going in and out, just into the yellow because we want it to match. You just go in and out, back and forth for a little bit. I know it's small, but just tucks it away a little bit more and just makes it a little bit more secure. And then once you've done that, you can trim it really close to the back of the poppy. And now we're going to do the same with the black. So knotting these two together, I usually do about 3 knots. 1, 2, and 3. And now again, getting our tapestry needle and just going to weave it in and out of the back of the poppy. You're not really going to see it. I do try to get on the black if I can, but if you can't, that's okay. I'm just weaving it in and out a little bit. And then trim it. Just want to make sure I didn't go all the way through the front there. Trim it really close, and again we grab the red and we knot them together. 3 knots. And now we weave these out, in and out of the red petals, and at the back of the red petals. And it's just weaving them in and out, back and forth, just tucking it away a little bit. And there's really no right or wrong. I just like to do this to make it secure. And then once you've done that, you can trim it. And there we go. There we have our very pretty poppy ready in time for Anzac Day. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. I'd love to see the poppies that you make, so feel free to tag me at Double Stitch Creations or using the hashtag Double Stitch Creations. I'd love to see all of your creations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye.